Welcome to week 2 of Weekly Stuff and Things with Matthew Ruybal. I'm Mathew Ruybal. It's our second episode. I've literally doubled my catalog of videos in 1 week. I know, it's impressive. I thought that too. So the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. I'm not going to get into that too much because you all know I'm a huge Seahawks fan. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks and all the 12s everywhere in the world, wherever you are. It's a good time to be a Seahawks fan, so that was really awesome. Speaking of the Super Bowl, one, I wasn't very impressed with the commercials. Were you? Did you see? What were the ones that really stood out to you? Can you think of very many? I couldn't think of very many. They weren't that great. The movie trailers, secondarily. We saw Captain America, we saw Amazing Spider-Man, and we saw Transformers 4, the new teaser for Transformers 4, which nobody expects to be any good anyway. But you know, they did something specifically that I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's in this image here. What's wrong with this image? You tell me. Are you a Transformers fan? My friend Brandon's a huge Transformers fan, and after we saw this trailer, he was mad. You know why? Because Optimus would never ride... Let me rephrase that. Grimlock would never let Optimus ride him. Ever. He's not Yoshi. He's Grimlock. He doesn't get ridden. So that was stupid. It doesn't bode well for Transformers 4, even though we kind of already saw that coming. In other movie news, Jesse Eisenberg was cast to play Lex Luthor in Superman vs. Batman, or Batman vs. Superman, or whatever the heck they're calling it these days. Jesse Eisenberg. Alright, Jeremy Irons was cast to play Alfred in a movie that isn't even coming out until 2016 now. I don't know how to feel about this movie. Gal Gadot was cast as Wonder Woman a while back. I don't have anything against Gal Gadot. I think she's a beautiful woman and she's a very good actress. But I just don't see her as Wonder Woman really at all. It's kind of odd casting. I mean, everybody's talking about the Ben Affleck casting, but I mean, moving forward, it's still been kind of odd. We didn't need a Superman versus Batman movie coming next. It should have been another Superman film. It should have been more about Superman, his story, not combining a bunch of the DC characters. It just feels like DC's trying to play catch up to Marvel. Fair enough. I mean, Marvel has done a pretty good job so far with their franchises and whatnot through Disney. I just think that Marvel's kind of gotten so far ahead now that DC shouldn't try and catch up right now. They should be trying to do, you know, the small things, the little things, try to really build, like lay the groundwork and do it right. It may take a little longer, but if you figure, you know, people are going to get tired of the Marvel characters after a while, and it might be nice to have something to turn to with the DC characters, but we'll see. In the same vein, with the DC thing, I want to talk a little bit about television, and I guess something that DC is doing right, and that's Arrow. If you haven't been watching Arrow, I highly recommend watching Arrow. Although, you know, there's that part of me that likes to wait till the show is concluded, the seasons are all finished, and you can watch it at your own pace. But this show is really, really wonderful, and it's worth watching week to week. I know the CW isn't known for putting together really, really amazing shows. They have had a few kind of guilty pleasure shows. You know which ones I'm talking about, that are okay. Guilty pleasures, really. But Arrow really sets a new bar. And I feel like every week I watch it, it seems like it just kind of gets a little better and a little better. The cinematography is absolutely wonderful. The casting's great. A lot of action, really good action. Strong stories, good acting. And for the ladies, there's all this ridiculous eye candy, constantly shirtless, buff dudes. It's kind of wrecks your brain a little bit. I feel fat watching Arrow, probably because I am. The first season's on Netflix, and I believe you can get all the episodes on Amazon Prime if you want to catch up to season 2. Something else I saw this week that was really cool, they finally released all the footage from Felix Baumgartner's Free Fall from 26 miles above the surface of the planet, the Red Bull thing that they did. If you didn't see this before, it's really worth watching, and this new video footage is really awesome. He broke the sound barrier falling. Totally worth watching, you should totally check that out. I want to talk about this indie game I saw a little video for. I'm going to link to the video for you. It's called Heat Signature. It's a really cool little indie video game about flying around in space and like stealthily boarding enemy ships. And it's still kind of in alpha. It's really, really cool. I would keep my eyes on this one. It's called Heat Signature. Check that out. Don't people know I'm shooting? They do stuff. They roll their garbage cans around when I'm shooting. I'm shooting! God. What am I talking about? I also watched this really cool, like kind of homemade TV pilot for a show that's actually going to be getting made called Wizard Wars. Now, it's a reality show, kind of a competition show. Think like Iron Chef, something like that, but instead of cooking, it's about magic. So, not Magic the Gathering, like sleight of hand type magic. You know, like prestidigitation. Didn't know I knew big words, did you? I don't know that many. Basically, you have the host who compiles a bunch of random ingredients, random magical paraphernalia, if you will, and then he has teams of magicians who get those secret ingredients, and they have an X amount of time to put together a unique and original magic routine using those elements, and then they get judged, and then they win stuff. It's kind of cool, the insight into how tricks are done in some ways. They don't show you everything, but you do kind of get an idea of the mentality of creating something like that. And it's a really cool thing. Wizard Wars, you should check it out. It's on YouTube. As far as film stuff goes, I thought a lot about Philip Seymour Hoffman this week. Really sad week with the passing of Philip Seymour Hoffman, really talented guy. Made me think of a lot of the movies that I liked that he made, you know, and I kind of went back in my mind and thought about him, and I really liked a film called Synecdoche, New York by Charlie Kaufman. It's a really, really mind-melting film. It's you have to see it to really kind of comprehend it, and even then, you might not. It's really odd. Charlie Kaufman, he did Being John Malkovich. He was involved with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, adaptation with Nicolas Cage. Really interesting filmmaker. Philip Seymour Hoffman killed it in Synecdoche. In fact, I came across this on YouTube. It's a film writer, like I believe it's a gentleman from slashfilm.com, and he found someone else, and they're talking about Synecdoche, New York. They're talking about interpreting what happened in this film. It's a two-part video that's going to be airing on YouTube. Part 1 is available right now. There'll be a link to it down below. If you've seen this movie, I highly recommend watching this little thing. If you haven't seen the movie, maybe you should watch the film first, and you're probably going to want to come back to this, Interpreting Synecdoche, New York. Almost lastly, but not quite lastly, next to lastly, I would like to talk about a film I finally got to see this week called You're Next. It's a home invasion genre film. You may have heard about it. It actually came out last year, a year before, actually, I think it's 2012. It finally got some wide distribution. It did really well at film festivals, etc. And I finally got a chance to watch it this week. If you don't like this genre, watch this movie. If you like this genre, watch this movie. There's not much to say. It's kind of a home invasion movie. Think like The Strangers, that kind of genre. But it's absolutely wonderfully made. The cinematography is really solid. I jumped once pretty violently, which doesn't usually happen when I watch movies. It was really kind of a startling moment, really cool. It sets the bar for the genre. So I highly recommend this movie. Within its genre, I would give it an 8.5, almost a 9 out of 10. It's really awesome. You're Next. You should definitely check this out. Last but not least, I want to point out one little tidbit that I saw on the internet this last week. J.J. Abrams, of course, who you know is working on Star Wars Episode 7, has said that he's finished with the script. Him and Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire Strikes Back, arguably the greatest Star Wars film ever made, has finished the script and says that shooting for Episode 7 begins in May of this year. We should be getting some casting news and whatnot here pretty soon. Star Wars Rebels, the new cartoon show that's going to be on Disney XD, is getting a full-length movie pilot, if you will, that's going to air on the Disney Channel before the series starts on Disney XD. Super excited for Star Wars. A lot of stuff we talked about this week, but that's the end. We've gone full circle and come to the end around from the beginning and those sorts of things. That's the end of episode 2. I will see you in 1 week.
If he doesn't die first. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I love being sick. It's awesome.
You should take that on to the end.
I'm sick as fuck. But I still did the show because I made a commitment to myself and kind of to you, people. All 2 of you that watched the show. Thanks. I appreciate it.